back to Vic and Hope. Oh no.
We've passed the curse on to you. Now that song is gonna get
no.
stuck inside your head.
We took a little break for texting and watching the music
Vic
video
just throwing shit on the floor.
sicko mode. Now my controller doesn't work anymore.
I like that Drake is the worst thing about that song.
Yes, Drake is awful.
Drake sucks.
Drake and Josh.
Indeed.
Make sure we're recording. Yeah, we're recording. Okay. Drake is garbage, yes.
Drake is
everyone,
a creepy
everyone is
pedophile.
aware he's a pedophile.
Now, if you're gonna make pedophile accusations, that's who you should be accusing.
Oh, yeah. Drake is so scary. He's a scary man.
He's a fucking creep. He's groomed multiple girls from the time they were young.
These, rich psychopaths.
It's fucking disgusting.
They get tired of adult women and they just start going younger.
Adult women can actually keep up with me and, you know, put up, tell me when I'm being a fucking asshole.
So
maybe I should hit on a 14-year-old.
I'm so tired of these women who don't worship me. What the fuck?
Don't you know I'm a god?
Exactly. I have money.
It's like these women have self-esteem. Jeez.
Self-esteem. Ew. What is this, a Saturday
fucking
morning cartoon?
Thank you.
Oh, I got killed.
Hey, that's something we could talk about.
What?
You want to talk about Vic Mignogna?
What is there to even say? I mean,
I feel like
one of those things where this is kind of self-explanatory. Vic Mignogna has always been a creep, and now it's coming back to get him, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to lose the jobs that he's lost, and I'm not saying he should keep working in the anime industry because he's a shit voice actor anyway.
Yes.
And he's way too fucking prolific. He's in everything and he sounds the same in everything. And he's a creep. And yes, his fan club is made up of more than 50% underage girls, and he definitely takes advantage of the fact that these girls like worship the ground he walks on.
Yes.
But I do feel like people saying he's like a rapist and stuff is a little bit extra.
I mean, that's far. Like, when you start, like, Conrad with all of his memeing, where it's like, yeah, it's funny, it's a meme, but, like, the dude's not a fucking rapist.
No.
Like, come on, man.
Like, sexual harassment, I could agree upon.
You know how difficult
Rape,
this is for these fucking guys. Like, it's a bit much. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
Don't start making the algorithm start favoring him as a rapist.
Yeah. Especially when there's just like a lot of gray going on. Because when you factor in the Todd Haberkorn stuff and
that stuff's creepy. That's where it's like, okay, Todd
so
Haberkorn might be a date rapist, but yeah. But then who knows? He could have been fucking date raping girls and like getting them drunk and fucking them. Like,
I'm not saying that's not a possibility.
Like, I wouldn't put it past him.
It's just such a he said she said scenario,
Yeah. And it's on the one hand, it's like, no one deserves to get job lynched mobbed, but then also, like, he's an old fucking dude and he sucks anyway. So it's like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it's more telling to me of the culture we're in, where, like, the outrage culture kind of stuff has gotten so extreme that it's gotten down to small communities,
Yeah, it's trickled down into, like, English voice actors.
Like, this very small community of people that no one really gives half of a fuck about. And, like, now we have this drama going on there. So it's just kind of like, yep, this is just where society has gone and where it will continue to go until everyone is clean and pure, I guess. Or until it somehow explodes back in everyone's face. I don't know. I don't know where it's going.
I mean,
but,
I just feel like
it's funny because you are saying this from the perspective of a girl who
I have seen
the very excited
I feel like
photo
I have
of
a
you.
unique perspective because I am someone who used to be, when I was much younger, a huge fan of Vic Mignogna. I was
younger,
probably,
but 16 or 17.
No, I wasn't 16 or 17.
How old were you when that picture was taken? You were at least 14.
Okay, let's see. That picture was taken when I was still friends with Maddie. So that must have been when I was in 8th grade. So I was probably 14.
Oh, yeah, you were at least 14 in that picture, because I remember what you looked like. You didn't look like a kid.
I was 14, though, because the people I was with at that time, I know what year of school I was in. I was 14. So, but yeah, I used to be a huge fan of Vic Mignogna. I had met him multiple times.
Yes,
there's
you're a
like
big Full Metal Alchemist
pictures
fan.
of me being assertively hugged by Vic Mignogna, but like I'm having a great ass time.
Yeah,
I am clearly
you're
like
extremely
cheesing.
happy. Yeah.
It's so I was clearly all about it. So, and I mean, when it comes to the girls that are in his fan base now, I think they're a lot the same.
Yeah.
That like when they get that interaction with him, it's very positive and very exciting and very affirming for them, because this is a person that they really admire, and he is willing to pay attention to them and like interact with them on a very personal level.
Like, as a fan, that's the interaction that everyone wants, you know?
Right.
Like, especially as a
Now,
girl. Like, you want that interaction. Should he give
as
you
an
that
adult
interaction?
who is looking at this situation, should that be something people do? Absolutely not. There should be a very strong line with fan interaction.
And, like, a hug, I feel like, can be fine, but when it's, like, a weird kiss on the
kiss
cheek
on the
or
cheek,
something, like, that's weird,
like,
you know?
When you're in the moment as a 14-year-old girl and you love Vic Mignogna, it's great. But looking at it as an adult, you're like, yeah, that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
That is not how you should interact with your fans. Especially not when they're so young and easily...
And because it's like, he
they're
knows
starstruck,
that's
like,
what they want. That they're eating it up, and he's feeding off that, like, weird attention.
And that definitely boosts his ego.
Creepy.
There's no doubt in my mind.
It's like he loves being treated like this fucking god in this, like, tiny community of losers.
To these girls, he's a golden god. Like, he can do no wrong, and they will do everything in their power to, like, get his attention.
Yeah.
And I know there are scenarios where he has, like, given out his personal cell phone number to underage girls who were in the Risen Bull Rangers, which is his fan club.
Which is, like, the same creepy shit that Drake does, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's always
And I will
this
admit
creepy
that
shit.
that's inappropriate, for sure.
It's super weird.
Like, to those girls, it's probably amazing, but as an adult looking at the situation, you're like, no, it's not appropriate.
It reminds me of in Curb Your Enthusiasm when Larry David has, like, the producer's daughter texting him, and he's like, what the fuck is up with this?
Yeah, and he's just like, I don't know what to fucking
me.
say.
And it's just like, oh, this interaction is weird and inappropriate and bizarre.
Yeah, because as a grown man, you know that, like, you have no business talking to these children.
It's like, no sensible adult would do that unless they're fucking creepy. Like, there's no reason why you would do that. It's weird.
I have no doubt that Vic Mignogna is an egomaniac. And I mean, the way he's responded to the situation just backs that up. Because after all of these claims came out, there's a video of him hosting a panel at a convention, and he's there with, like, you know, his room full of fucking, you know, 16-year-old girls who are all completely his fans, and he's addressing this issue and, like, crying and being like, I didn't mean to offend anyone, I'm so sorry, and everyone in the room is like, no, we love you, Vic, we love you didn't do anything wrong. And it's like, yeah, you're doing this in your fucking hug box of 14-year-old girls because you want your fucking ego stroked, and it's gross. It's not, I'm not defending that behavior at all, but the rape accusations, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, we should see it as an opportunity to get rid of someone that kind of needed to go, you know?
No, yeah, for sure.
It's definitely,
like,
can be spun to a positive.
It's getting the chaff out of the wheat. Yeah. Definitely. I agree.
It's like, this guy needed to go. He's been around too long. He is a bit of a creep, you know? Whether he did anything wrong or not, it's like, he's kind of needs to go.
I can just say, from the perspective of someone who was in the shoes of those girls, like...
Yeah.
It was behavior that was very likely something they liked at the time.
Yeah. Now, Todd Havercorn date raping a cosplay girl seems like it's pretty likely to be true.
He's definitely an asshole.
Really bad.
But there is the possibility that they were both fucking real drunk. So, I mean, I don't know.
But then it's one of those things where it's you know, it's another situation where it feels like it's easy to kind of blame the victim like that, but then it's also but if there's a type of guy who would feed girls drinks and get them super drunk, you know,
it's probably Todd Havercorn.
Like, it's probably that type of guy, you know, a voice actor who feels like he's invincible at this convention and is getting his ego stroked, and then, like, wants to fuck the hot cosplay girl, but she's not putting out, you know, and so he's gonna feed her drinks, like...
Yeah.
Because, you know, what are these voice actors, like, they don't actually give a shit about anime. They're doing their fucking job.
Yeah.
they're going to these cons to get pussy, you know?
For sure.
Todd Habercorn, he's
especially
going to
with
get
Todd
fucked.
Habercorn, this is a man who, because he played the main character of Fairy Tail, he got a Fairy Tail tattoo in the same spot as that main character. If you're not doing that to fuck anime fans, I don't know why you're doing it.
Exactly. It's like he just wants to fuck cosplay girls. The girl's probably not, you know, he might have made a bet with his friends that he could fuck her or something. You know, he could have scoped her out beforehand because she does cosplay. He could have, like, premeditated.
You can totally
this
research
assault,
these
you know?
people.
And then it's easy for him to get in because he's a voice actor. You're not going to not talk to Todd Habercorn, right?
Right.
And then it's like he's going to feed her drinks and then he's going to take her up to fucking date rape her. Like, it's not unbelievable to think that of this guy.
It's not a stretch,
especially because he seems like a total fucking douche.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like when they, you know, him and Vic Mignogna did that creepy free thing.
Oh,
where, like,
man,
they
that's
did
so
the whole
cringe.
music video. Like, yeah, remember that. Like,
It's so
it makes it
cringe.
pretty easy to believe that they would be fucking date raping fans. Like, they're in it for the.
Yeah,
for being
they're
worshipped.
taking advantage of this audience that's
Yeah.
very dedicated.
It's like they gotta go. The Todd Habercorn thing, I'm just like, it's so easy for me to believe it.
I'm a lot more inclined to believe that Todd Habercorn would do something
Yeah.
that sinister. I don't.
Like, these guys
I
are
don't know.
probably super fucking malicious towards the cosplay girls because they're hot and they're there and they just, you know, they think like, oh, these girls are just here because they want attention and they want to get fucked. That's why they're dressing in these sexy cosplays, you know?
Yeah.
It's probably like a big fucking gag contest for them.
For
I
sure.
can completely imagine that.
Because
It's easy for me to go like, I'm a decent guy. I don't believe that these things would happen. But then it's like, you gotta remember
it's like,
that most
there's
people in the
fucking
world
shitty
are
guys
total
out there.
scumbags. Yeah. It's
especially
pretty
when
gross.
there's unlimited alcohol involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not convinced that the allegations against Vic Mignogna go as far as raping people.
Yeah.
But Todd Habercorn, yeah, I might believe that.
Yeah. He's another creep.
I do
And he's
believe
like
Vic
a
Mignogna
younger
is a
creep.
fucking creep, for
Yeah.
sure. And I believe he's possibly sexually harassed people, but I don't think that's the same caliber as rape.
Yeah. It's definitely not rape. God. This world.
Again, not defending Vic Mignogna, not saying, you know, I'm not hashtag I stand with Vic or anything.
Yeah.
But,
Because, like,
just
fuck
saying.
Vic Mignogna. God damn it, I forgot to spend my samurai skill points. I need to upgrade my shit, man. I need to spend my shit.
very nice. I'm very proud of you. But I mean, Funimation cut ties with Vic Mignogna, so they must have found something substantial
Yeah.
enough to warrant cutting off their cash cow. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who can say?
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to read these things and spend my skill points. I have to spend my skill points.
But yeah, I was just thinking about that because,
What does this do?
just, you know, I have that perspective of being a former Vic Mignogna fan. There's, you know, photo evidence out there. So, I mean, it's just interesting how this is evolving and unfurling.
Yeah. Yeah.
No hard feelings that Vic Mignogna is not in the industry anymore, though.
Yeah.
Maybe we can finally get good American voice actors.
That would be
Other than
great.
Steve Bloom.
Because, like, Vic Mignogna would direct some of the stuff, too, and, like, hire people. So it's like he's partially responsible for the
Garbage dubs.
awful, inclusive, like, or uninclusive, you know.
Yeah, the very incestuous pool
the
of voice
incestuous
actors.
pool of voice actors. It's a
I
great
agree.
way to call it.
That's what it is, man.
That's
That's how it be.
I think we're almost past where I theorized that the Red Letter Media guys got in this game, because they had footage of playing this level and then maybe the level after it, and then they didn't have footage of anywhere else, so I know that they didn't get halfway through the fucking game. This is definitely not even halfway through the game. This one's cool. We gotta fight a big water monster, and it's hard.
It's just
very
like Inuyasha.
True.
You remember that? They fought a water monster.
Yeah.
They fought a lot of water monsters, though.
Anywho, so we went and saw a different movie. What's the other movie we saw?
Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh God, Velvet Buzzsaw. No,
Oh, you wanna
I
talk
wasn't
about
talking
Velvet
about Velvet Buzzsaw. If you want, I mean, what is there to say beyond it's a horrible movie on Netflix and no one should watch it? Like,
So, Velvet Buzzsaw is a horror movie on Netflix by the same guy that directed Nightcrawler.
And it's fucking shocking.
So I don't know if you guys have seen Nightcrawler. That movie's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it. He's a perfect fucking creepy guy. He fucking acts the shit out of that role. The movie is like
that's an essential movie that everyone should see.
Awesome and so good.
Nightcrawler is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go see it. Don't spoil it for anyone. Like, it's
I'm not gonna say what happens, but it's a great movie. It's a great suspense
classic
movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so good, and like it's just such a great movie. Then you go and see Velvet Buzzsaw, and it feels
it's horrible.
It's bad.
Absolutely atrocious from top to bottom. Like,
Velvet
it's just an awful
Buzzsaw
movie.
Feels like a movie extended cut of an episode of Goosebumps.
Yes.
Because the premise is that this girl who is like an art dealer finds this collection of art from this guy who dies in her apartment building, and he was like his will is like, oh, destroy my art. I don't want anyone, looking at it or selling it or any of that shit. Destroy my art after I die. And she's like, no, this art is beautiful. I must sell it and put it on display. And then the guy is like, oh, all right, well then my art is actually fucking haunted and it's gonna kill everybody. And the art just starts killing people in really stupid ways.
Yes, the art is killing people. And
like
it's got
one guy,
really awful CGI. It's just the worst fucking movie ever.
This movie also has Joaquin Phoenix in it, but he plays a bisexual guy who acts super gay.
Yeah.
He's also an art critic.
Joaquin Phoenix, you mean
oh my god. Wait, no. Wait, who? Which guy? What's his name?
The Nightcrawler, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I pulled Joaquin Phoenix out of there. Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm sorry, Joaquin Phoenix, if you're listening. I didn't mean to slander your good name.
That's true. Jake Gyllenhaal deserves to be slated for this awful fucking
because Joaquin Phoenix is the guy who wasn't her. You're right.
Okay, yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I got so confused. I'm like, where was he in this movie?
He wasn't. I'm sorry. What? I lied. Jake Gyllenhaal. Yes, he plays a very gay bisexual man who is also an art critic.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cheesy and bad, and the character's not particularly good or likable. In fact, no characters in this movie are particularly good or likable.
Where like he's not really the main character. Like everyone's kind of
a fucking piece of shit.
It's more about like the girl, but then it's just horrendously awful. Like, I don't know how to describe it beyond that, Yeah. This could be one that, if you want to give, like, a whole plot breakdown, like, if you want to give your Hopes movie summary.
This movie...
besides that, I don't have much to say about it beyond don't see it, and it sucks.
This movie is, like, it feels like it's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably only 2. Is it 2.5 or 2?
I don't know. I don't think it was even that long. It just feels like forever because it's
boring.
No,
this was like
shitty.
This movie was at least 2 hours.
I think it was only an hour and a half, dude.
No, there's no way. This movie had to be 2 hours long. I refuse to believe it was any shorter than that because it felt like a fucking millennia.
It's just like the cinematography's bad. It's obviously cheap as shit.
It's
there's
bad,
weird,
but it wants to convince you that it's good because the camera moves a lot.
It doesn't even really. Like, it's not even... It's
just
like really
there's certain
easy,
scenes where the
shit.
camera moves a lot.
Yeah, kind of. Where it'll, like, swoop in or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of swooping going on.
Lots of swooping.
Yeah.
And then it's like, there's constantly people walking around with trays of Starbucks where all of the labels
There's
are
so much fucking Starbucks in this movie.
The labels are always turned towards the camera.
It's like the Zooey Deschanel of this movie is always showing up with like 8 cups of Starbucks, and all the Starbucks labels are facing the camera at all times.
The only good part of the movie was the Zooey Deschanel millennial waifu who would show up and be like, I'm barely a character. What's going on? Here's Starbucks.
Her character is that she brings Starbucks and she gets to see like 5 different dead bodies.
Yes.
And is not phased at all.
She's
just like, well,
she keeps losing her job because her employer dies, and then one of the other characters employs her. And it was like,
and then that person dies.
Like, the only entertaining dynamic of this movie is that like this girl
keeps losing
her job, and then you're like, is this a comedy? Like, I can't tell what this movie is. Like, is this meant to be funny? Is it meant to be like gratifying to see these people die?
I feel like it's supposed to be a commentary on like art.
It's kind of like a Final Destination
as a community.
Like, if it went Final Destination with it and, like, had really creative
Goofy
murders,
deaths.
you know, because that's kind of what it is, where it's like these people fucked something up and so they're getting killed off one by one, like Final Destination. Except there's no suspense to it at all, because nothing happens, and, like, the way people die, they just kind of, like, get alone, and then there's, like, oh no, there's a spooky painting, and then it kills them, and it's like, oh, okay.
Like, the first person who dies is a guy who literally just, like, works... He's, like, a handyman at the art place.
Uh-huh.
And the lady is like, okay, I'm gonna give you all these haunted paintings, and I want you to take them to a storehouse. And he's like, okay. So he puts all the paintings in a truck, and he's driving to the place, but then he, like, gets in an accident out at a gas station in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And, like, the car, like, kind of explodes, but kind of doesn't. And he wanders into the gas station because he's, like, wounded from the explosion.
Yeah.
And while he's in the gas station, there's a painting of a bunch of monkeys over a sink, and he's, like, washing the blood off himself in the sink. And then the painting of the monkeys, like, comes alive and, like, grabs him and pulls him into the painting and, like, murders him.
It was stupid.
And it was very strange. And I really... That's where it started to feel like an episode of Goosebumps, because that's some shit that would happen in Goosebumps.
And the whole time you're like, is this gonna go somewhere? Is this gonna get good? Like, is there some kind of grand point being made? And there just isn't.
There's, like, character drama between Jake Gyllenhaal's character and, like, the main girl. Because they, like, are fucking, but also she's seeing other guys.
Yeah. Wow, great.
Great, yeah. This really makes me like these characters,
like,
and I am invested.
He's at least kind of, like, losing his mind throughout and, like, hallucinating.
He has some fucking
and,
Nicolas
like,
Cage-ass acting in this movie.
Yeah, it's very Nick Cage.
A lot of screaming,
so
a lot of gesticulating, and, like, extreme facial expressions from Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's just weird, because he's a good actor.
Right?
You know?
But then he's, like, really hamming this. I don't know. Anyway, the movie is called Velvet Buzzsaw because the older art dealer lady has this really shitty tattoo of a buzzsaw on the back of her neck, because apparently they used to call her the Velvet Buzzsaw because she was good at, like, poaching artists or something.
No, that's what her band was called.
Oh, was it?
She had a band called Velvet Buzzsaw. Yeah.
I didn't catch that part.
Really?
So.
It was, like, at the beginning. It's like
I thought it's, like, that's just what they called her because they were like, whoa, she's a badass.
And she had a punk band when she was younger called Velvet Buzzsaw that was all about sticking it to the man.
And now she is the man.
Yeah, so that was the irony of her character. And that's why, like, she was the last one to get killed and stuff, you know? Because she was...
This is neat.
You know, yeah, check it out.
What?
You know, pay your respects to him.
What?
It didn't work. Hold on. There we go.
And then he tries to murder you?
No, I think I did the wrong command. You can, like, pray to the wall, because it's something where it's like it tells you if you show respect to the monster, it will, like, go away, and so, like, you bow to it the right way, and it disappears for you. Otherwise, it will kill you. I did not know that until I learned it from a video or something.
Because you don't read the text in the game.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like it's not something obvious.
I'm teasing you.
Yeah,
anyway.
And also I didn't read any of the text, so yeah. But yeah, when there's an illusory wall, you can either fight it or you can pray to it and it'll go away, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. But yeah. In this movie, Jake Gyllenhaal gets killed by a homeless robot?
Yes.
That was at an art exhibit at the beginning of the movie? And Jake Gyllenhaal is at a storage unit trying to, like, get rid of the evil paintings, which are called D's. D's paintings.
Yes. Well, because the guy was named
I know,
D's,
but it's funny because it's D's. Anyway.
You explain things in a confusing way.
This plot doesn't matter. The plot's retarded. Yes. It's not even, like, good enough to fucking recap because it's boring.
It is boring and shitty, and I don't like it.
But yeah, so he's trying to get to the D's paintings in the storage unit, and the hobo robot just shows up, and Jake Gyllenhaal's like, oh shit, it's the hobo robot.
And then it, like, chokes him out.
And then the hobo robot, like, fucking cicada blocks him with his crutches, and then he just murders Jake Gyllenhaal, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, I guess that happened. And then the old art dealer lady, she gets rid of all of the D's paintings.
There we go. I think it's this one. No!
I'm mad too.
I keep doing the wrong thing, I guess.
I guess he didn't like that.
Yeah. Fuck. God damn it, he threw a rock at me. I was stuck in the gesture menu and I couldn't get out.
Nice.
I guess I gotta fight this one. Maybe he doesn't like being bowed to.
Maybe you should give him the middle finger.
Maybe he's like, don't
Maybe he
patronize me,
likes that.
bitch.
Exactly. I mean, you should
Maybe
be
I
like,
didn't get the right command.
fuck you, buddy.
Maybe I didn't get the proper bow command.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Let's see.
Why?
That's a normal bow. You'd think that
Can
would
you
be
do
the
like a
one.
deep bow? Whistle. Yeah, whistle at him.
Whistle. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Sorry. Oops.
There we go.
But,
pray. I think I want pray.
But yeah, so at the very end of the movie, the older art dealer lady, she gets rid of all the Dee's paintings, and she's like, oh yes, I'm free from the curse. Everybody else died, but I made it. And then it's like, oh no.
Oh no.
But wait, the stupid Buzzsaw tattoo on the back of her neck comes to life and just buzzsaws her spine, I guess.
It saws into her spine.
It just fucking saws right through her.
Like she had burned all of her art so that the art couldn't kill her, but then it turned out that there was art on her body, so it got her.
She couldn't escape the art because tattoos are art too. Am I right?
Yes.
Guys?
You better respect
This
art
is a
or it's gonna
statement
murder
about
you.
art because art isn't something that you should take lightly because
Or
it's
not
serious.
meant to be bought or sold. It's meant to be.
You can't just sell art.
Yeah, it's like it tries to make some kind of commentary about like how art, you should be making art for yourself
Art
and not to be
isn't a
sold,
commodity.
Yeah, it's not a commodity, but it's like it gives that message in the gayest possible way, and that is the stupidest message ever.
And every character in this movie sucks, and you feel good when they die
It's just
because
an awful
they suck.
movie. Yes. And I have nothing to say about it besides that it is awful and disappointing, and I hope that guy stops making movies because he's clearly not actually good at all.
Nightcrawler was obviously just a fluke.
Yeah, total fucking fluke.
Because every movie he's made after that has been not good. So,
Damn it, no!
Did you make the wrong gesture? Yeah, you threatened him.
What the? God, and I keep not hitting out of the menu after I do it. What the fuck?
Man, this guy is,
This guy is very
wrecking our
aggro.
fucking
He
shit.
does not play by the rules at all.
He doesn't play by the rules.
Alright,
not
I'm
even
gonna
his
stop
own.
trying. I need to just fight the guy.
Uh-oh. Okay. So yeah, if you, watch Velvet Buzzsaw if you hate yourself and you want to waste 2 hours.
Yes.
Basically, everything we just described to you was anything that was remotely entertaining in the movie, and you don't need to watch it.
Yes, and even that was barely entertaining, I'm sure.
I don't know. I mean, the idea of a homeless robot murdering Jake Gyllenhaal with crutches is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a hobo
I
lot.
like that. And I mean, the
Because he
buzzsaw
wasn't
coming
nice.
to life and ripping through that lady's neck was pretty funny.
Yes, it was.
Not in a good way.
It was quite dumb.
And the Starbucks was also pretty entertaining. So
Yes, the Starbucks was definitely the
Starbucks
funniest
product
aspect
placement
of
was
the
the
movie.
best, and I enjoyed it.
Fucking shit, this guy. And then he just throws a boulder at me. Fucking asshole.
But yeah. So, what movie did we actually see?
I have no steam now to talk about
Aw.
what we actually saw.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail you, but I did want to talk about Velvet Buzzsaw, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was not ready for Velvet Buzzsaw.
We-
It was quite awful.
We saw, Alita, Battle Angel.
Yeah.
What'd you think about that, Victor?
Hold on, let me fight this guy.
Okay.
I can't, I can't think anymore. This game is hard.
Yeah.
Eh.
I mean,
Eh.
I will preface by saying there was a lot more people in the theater seeing Alita
Yeah.
than I thought there would
That
be.
I was actually surprised, because it seemed like one of those trailers where it's like, they're just showing you vapid spectacle in the trailer, so it's like
Yeah.
you don't really expect people to actually give a shit, and it's like, it's not a nostalgia IP, so like, normies have no reason to blab about it and try to go see it. So like, it was very shocking that there were a bunch of like kids and stuff and like families
Yeah,
and
there
everyone
were
came to see it, and it was like,
families.
whoa, there must really be nothing else to see right now. Even
I
though there's the
mean,
Lego movie.
Yeah, the
So
Lego
you'd think,
movie is
like,
out. So
kids
the
would wanna
obvious
go see
choice
that,
for
you
families
know?
would be the Lego movie.
They were like, it was like little kids, and they like stayed engaged. They seemed like they really liked the movie. And I
Yeah,
was like, whoa,
they seemed
that
about
was
it.
interesting. Didn't expect so many people to be going to see this movie.
Yeah, it was quite the surprise.
Because part of my reason for wanting to see it is that we,
You were concerned it wouldn't be getting any support.
Yeah, because we had been hearing
office.
that it was a good adaptation and like it was faithful to the manga and stuff like that. It's like I don't really care about Battle Angel Alita, but like I care about the idea that people would try to put effort into an anime movie, and so I'm like I want to see it in support of people putting effort into movies, and because like a lot of these. Like, they take a risk into a huge movie for an IP that is lesser known, that people don't care about. And so it's like, you need to reward that risk-taking with your patronage, or they're not going to keep taking risks, you know? And they're not going to spend that kind of big budget again, because they're going to go, oh, well, it didn't work last time, I guess let's wait another 10 years before we make an anime movie. Because we tried to do it good, like the fans would want, and that didn't work out, so maybe I guess we'll just bullshit the next one.
Let's make Ghost in the Shell 2.
Yeah, let's do another Ghost in the Shell. So like, yeah, I'm motivated to go see this because I don't think it's gonna do well, but it does seem like it's doing well, so that's good.
It's the number one at the box office this weekend so far.
Kind of like Spider-Man, where I was like, oh, I need to go see Into the Spider-Verse because it's a big risk-taking movie, you know, and you gotta reward the taking risks.
Yeah, except we were actually genuinely interested in that.
Yes.
Also.
I was kind of interested in Alita after hearing that it was good, you know?
I was,
I know you were
not particularly interested.
But were you pleasantly surprised by enjoying the movie? Or?
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
was actually surprised. I was like, yeah, alright.
I kind of figured. Like, I figured Conrad, like, he would not have praised it if it weren't good, being an anime movie, you know?
Yeah.
And I would, my review of it is, if you're a teenager, this movie is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. For
sure. If you're an adult, it's probably a 6 or 7 out of 10, you know? Like, it's just a pretty good movie, but it's overwhelmingly corny.
Very
a lot
corny.
of moments. And, but, impressive visually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say aesthetically, besides, like, I love the look of the city and all that, but, like, generally it's not I don't really love the character designs or anything, so it didn't really get me, like, super jizzed about that kind of stuff.
I was actually really surprised at how much I ended up liking the way Alita looked.
Yeah, she looked pretty good.
I was like, wow, I actually don't hate this, and I don't find it to be creepy.
Like, I really hated it from the trailers, but then, like, actually seeing it, it was like, okay, she's kind of cute.
Alright, I like this, actually. I feel like she's pretty
the
cute.
Characterization of her.
It's good, yeah. I surprisingly liked her character a lot.
Yeah. It's overall a pretty good movie. Definitely recommend seeing if you just want a fun action movie, you know. If you've been so jaded and disappointed by like the Transformers and the Ninja Turtles movies and stuff like that, it's like it's so astronomically better than a Transformers movie. Like when you think about it in the context of what this movie is competing with, which is like big budget, crowd pleasing movies that can be accessible to everyone. Like that's the genre of movie this is. You put it next to, especially other teen movies, you put it next to Twilight, you put it next to Hunger Games. Like
I still don't think it's fair to compare it to Twilight.
Yeah. But I mean, it feels
Hunger
like
Games, yes.
a movie for teenagers with a female protagonist. And if you look at other movies for teenagers with a female protagonist, this movie is so good compared to those.
Absolutely.
So good for a young adult sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's better than what you could possibly ask for in that genre.
Alita is actually, like, cool and relatable and a badass. And you're like, yeah.
The movie's never pandering or stupid or vapid. Like, it's pretty good all the way through. Yeah. It's obviously a movie for young people and kids. Like,
for young adults.
It's not going to challenge your adult mind, It's not going to blow you away with anything super unique or new. But, like, it is a great young adult movie, As a teenager, I definitely would have been blown away. Like, it would have been so cool.
Oh, yeah. I feel like if I had been 13 when we saw this, I would have absolutely loved it.
Yeah. And that's good.
Like,
I'm glad that, not everything should be for adults. There should be good, cool, big budget things for kids and teens.
Yeah.
That are big and fulfilling.
And it's not that you can't enjoy it as an adult. It's just not going to be anything you haven't seen before.
Exactly.
But it's done well.
It's done pretty well.
It's fine.
It's worth seeing, for sure.
It's definitely the best anime adaptation for an American movie that
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
By far, for sure, because they don't exist, you know?
Yeah. And you were saying that you don't necessarily like what that indicates for future
That's
anime
what I was
adaptations.
kind of gonna get into, which is like, I think it's really great for this that it turned out so well, but I think it's not good for the future of anime adaptations because it leaned so hard into being a movie for teens, you know? And it's establishing an idea that an anime movie is a teen movie, you know? Like, it's taking the young adult novel approach to, like, who this movie should be for. Like a Spielberg approach of, like, really accessible. Like, it felt like Ready Player One in terms of, like, the corniness and, like, the aesthetic of it and the big budgetness of it, where it's like...
But it did have
it felt like it was
darker
trying
moments.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had darker moments.
It was definitely PG-13, but...
like... But it had darker moments in the way that Hunger Games has darker moments. You know, it's like nothing really shocking. Like, it's nothing that's going to disturb your child mind because, like, they really downplayed those dark moments. They didn't really show any humans dying. You know, anytime someone was killed,
that guy got cut in half.
Yeah, but he was a robot inside. You know?
No, he wasn't.
Anytime someone gets cut in half,
the
or
black
you mean
guy?
the black guy? Yeah, but they cut away from it really fast.
Yeah, but you saw it.
Yeah,
you saw him in half on the
half,
ground.
but it was very quick. And
it
she
was
did
fast.
say fuck at one point. Where
and
it's
she
like,
said fuck, and they said bitch.
They let the stuff go in there, but like it doesn't indulge in the violence in the way where like the original anime stuff does. Where like it worked for this, but there's some stuff that would definitely be worse if they didn't like go hard. You know, like Akira would be so much worse if they took this approach to it.
Yeah,
so, like, I wouldn't want them to see this work out and then go like, oh, we can do the same thing with Akira now, you know? Another big 90s gore fest, like... Because the 90s anime stuff all was full of gore, like Battle Angel Alita. And it's like, this is one that worked without it, plot-wise. But Akira would be ruined if they took out the aesthetics and the gore and the shit like that, you know? Like, that is essential to the enjoyment of Akira, I think.
I'll make the same...
in certain anime,
I'll make the counterpoint here that I feel like in this case they made a good choice in taking that out of Battle Angel Alita, but preserving the heart of it and staying true to the manga, but making a movie that can appeal to a very wide audience. Because like I was saying earlier, this could be the start of the same thing that worked for superhero movies.
Yeah.
Because with the superhero movies, everyone always, you know, back in the 90s or whatever, the superhero movies were super cheesy. They were meant for, like, you know, fucking teenagers and kids.
Yeah.
And it's like no one took it seriously.
Oh, God.
You know, they were adapting these super cheesy superhero movies. No one took it seriously until you started seeing your Iron Mans and your Captain Americas and your Thor. And then Avengers came out. And all those movies were super successful. And the successes of those movies built a road for things like Deadpool and for Wolverine that are rated R and are meant for a very mature adult audience and can portray, you know, the swearing all the time, all of the gore, the really dark themes. Like that those lighter movies paved the road for those R-rated movies. And I feel like if we support stuff like Battle Angel Alita and we show people that they can do that, then down the road, if this continues to be a successful trend, we can make our way to a place where we can get an R-rated Akira movie. That could be viable if this trend persists. Because if we can get Deadpool, if we can get Wolverine, if we can have these R-rated superhero movies, a genre that's meant for teenagers, we could have that for anime too, and it could be good.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
it's a path. It's a long path.
The optimistic way to look at it.
But it could be there. Yeah. If we can do it with superhero movies, I don't see why we couldn't do it with anime.
But then there's also, like, we could end up being, like, the hardcore comic book fans. Where, like, those people aren't satisfied with the superhero movies.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
true.
Like, they definitely get the best outcome, but then it's like, should these anime IPs be something that we want to be accessible to normal people? You know, is it going to help anime for these franchises to be redone and booted up like this and changed in such an inherent way? Where, like, I was thinking, like, oh, Blood the Last Vampire would be a great movie to adapt into a live action, but would you lose out on the aesthetics that made it good and, like, the extreme violence? And, like, that's what I remember from that movie as a kid being really cool. Like, are you gonna... are you gonna water it down so much that it's not even really the same thing anymore? And is that what they'd continue to do with all these things? Where it's like, I don't know, you know. I hate, because on the one hand, I like this movie a lot. I thought it was really good, but I also hate certain things about it. Like, I hate the Hollywood movie soundtrack.
Yeah,
you know?
the soundtrack was really
and it's
bad.
Like, the things I don't like about this movie are things that I think would really ruin a lot of concepts for me, you know? Like, I don't think, like, the big Hollywood soundtrack works for me for superhero movies, you know? Because superhero movies are American,
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
inherently
corny,
American.
and they're big, and, like, that works for that, you know? Turning anime movies into superhero movies, like, it wouldn't give me what I want out of anime. You know, I don't go to anime for that aesthetic. I go to it for what it has to offer, and it's like, that's what you're gonna lose out by anime movies becoming Hollywoodified, you know? You lose out on the quieter moments and the better soundtracks and, like, the stuff that really makes anime unique from American shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
and, like, the corny dialogue, you know?
The fundamental question of, like, do you even want anime to be adapted for an American audience in the form of a movie?
It's like, I think the hardcore
is that even
people,
something you want?
know, we don't want that. Like, you want that when you're a kid because you think that's gonna make the stuff you like become acceptable. Like, you're gonna feel validated by the fact that it got adapted this way.
But I mean,
like, it's
nowadays it's so acceptable to be into geek stuff that you don't really need that anymore.
Exactly. It's like, stuff is perfect the way, like, wanting a perfect Berserk anime adaptation. It's like, it'll never be as good as the manga. Like, the form it was originally made in is perfectly fine, and there's no reason to adapt it. It only gets worse. There's certain things that are good when they're adapted, you know? Like a One Punch Man or something, where it's like the medium of animation can add a lot to that.
Yeah,
but
or Mob
certain
Psycho.
things just can't. It's just not going to be better than how it was. You know, just leave it alone.
Another good example of that would be, you know, Junji Ito manga.
Yeah.
You're never going to adapt
no
it.
point.
It's just not going to happen.
And it's like,
it's impossible.
when the aesthetics are such an essential part of it, then what's the point?
Exactly. When, like, the medium is the point. Like,
Yeah.
when you're reading something like that, the point is that you can time everything exactly how the author intended, and that's a lot harder to get across in animation.
I think there's a difference when, like, certain things can turn to anime or manga because it's the only medium where they can tell their story in an affordable way, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's certain stuff where you can do a lot of things in animation that you can't do in live action because you're limited by budget and what is possible in that medium.
Yeah.
So, like, you might, like, a intense sci-fi world is something that can translate really well into live action because it's like they might have only been doing that story as an anime because they couldn't do it as a live action movie because effects weren't there yet, you know, the budget wasn't there. So, like, Alita is something that can translate well because, like, that can be adapted and explored in live action in that way. But then certain stuff, like, you couldn't adapt a Masaaki Yuasa story into live action.
Never.
You know, it would defeat the whole point because, like, that's something that indulges in the medium of, like, it is an anime and, like, you can't. That's the whole point.
That goes
of it,
so
you know?
far into the surreal that there's just no way.
It's like there's certain things that you just couldn't do.
Like, imagine trying to adapt Kaiba into a live action format. It would be impossible.
And it's like, Akira could work in live action, you know, if you really, like, stayed true to it.
I just...
Like, it's something that... It's so grounded in realism.
But once you get into the
aesthetics.
body horror stuff, imagine seeing all that in CG.
I mean, it could look awesome. It could look fucking great in CG if they did it right, you know?
don't know.
Like, that could look... Like, that's not what I would be worried about. It's the pacing in the storytelling. Like, that's what I'd be worried about. Like... The quietness and the slowness and
it definitely wouldn't
the ambience, like, that's what you would lose.
American sensibilities wouldn't be able to interpret that into a movie.
And that's what you lose out with Alita, you know, as this versus, like, a 90s OVA, where it's just, like, it has to have that sweeping soundtrack, and it has to have that dialogue, and it has to play by all these Hollywood rules that, like, if Akira had to play by those same rules, it would be ruined.
Yeah.
It would just
It would
suck.
Definitely...
Because it wouldn't have the same atmosphere and
deface the
aesthetic.
source material.
It's like the atmosphere really matters. If they tried to do Evangelion, it would be
Oh my
fucking
God.
annihilated.
That would be amazing.
It would just suck so bad.
Oh.
And it's also just the difference between the way that Japanese characters can talk in anime. Not even that it's realistic, but like the pace at which those conversations could happen and the structure of the way they talk versus the way...
would feel very strange.
Yeah. Like in
real life.
It's inherently weird, and that's why it's like you can suspend that disbelief in animation, but like once it turns into a movie, it's like the dialogue has to fit this certain like limitation and archetype. That's what Alita does, you know? It's like the dialogue feels so Hollywood movie dialogue.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Whereas the characters have to react in certain ways, they have to talk in certain ways.
And I think when you're talking about like the big kind of bombastic series like Akira or Evangelion, that's definitely true. But I feel like there are some anime that could be adapted into an American movie and would do just fine if they were in capable hands.
Like Ghost in the Shell, where it's like that should have been the easiest one to do. You know, that should have been the most obvious thing, but then they fucked it up anyways. But then if they tried to do like a movie version of... Because they're gonna go for the stuff that was big 90s properties that like adults like, that, you know, like Alita is one of those big kind of early 90s... or late, whenever it was, you know, 90s things that was like an adult property that caught on in the West. And like they took it and made it into a teen movie, you know? Because that's probably what the plot fits more towards, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But if they did the same thing with Cowboy Bebop, you know, another big property
we'll already get to see that.
Feels like
We're
it would be
where
obvious,
that goes.
you know? Like Netflix original Cowboy Bebop series or some shit. And then it's like, that's not something that's going to translate as well.
No.
The characters aren't going to work. It's going to be weird. It's corny and stupid. And that's, like, you don't feel like Cowboy Bebop is corny and stupid while you're watching it. But if you took literally the same thing and put real people instead of anime people, it would be incredibly stupid and corny, you know?
Yeah.
And they're just going to fuck it up. They're going to fuck up the soundtrack. It's just, there's too many variables to ruin.
I don't know. I can't think of a good example right now, but I know there must be examples of shows that could be adapted well.
It's got to be the right shit. And
I'm just saying, if we were selective in what we chose to adapt, I feel like it could be successful.
All right.
Not to say everything should be, but
you know, Alita was good.
Yeah,
it's definitely good.
That being said, enjoyable movie.
It was a lot of fun. I never felt bored watching it, even though it was very, very long. And that is saying a lot. Because most movies are boring. And shitty.
This is very true.
It was definitely better than stuff like Ready Player One in the competition. If you stack it against the competition of young adult movies, it is way better than all that shit. It's definitely a good sign for the future of Hollywood blockbusters. Yeah, this guy's cool. He's a big water man. And he's very fucking hard, and I hate this fucking boss. Very fucking tedious and challenging. Hope is on her phone now.
Sorry.
Why is Hope on her phone while we're recording?
I was checking our time, and then I had an email from work people, and I wanted to know what was happening.
I don't know. I guess are we done talking about Alita?
I mean, I think so. I think I made my
everything
point.
there is to say beyond recapping the whole plot of the movie, but that's not necessary. You know, it's something you should go see.
Yeah, I don't want to recap the plot of a movie we want people to see, because that defeats the purpose.
So yeah, it's a pleasant surprise, for sure. Definitely, good Robert Rodriguez in good form. For anyone who knows, Hope didn't even know who Robert Rodriguez was.
No.
Which is pretty funny. But if he did From Dusk Till Dawn, he did. I think he did Sin City. He's done some of those fun movies.
Movies I
was
haven't
optimistic
seen
about Rodriguez because he's like a cult film director, you know. So it's like he's gonna try to do a good job unless the producers ruin him, you know.
Yeah.
So like I think he did. It's clear that he was able to do a good job with this. It had that corny Rodriguez feel. It's a good thing. I'm glad it was him and not some fucking hack like Spielberg. Who just fucking phones it in and makes super shitty movies these days.
I mean, We could have had a George Lucas Battle Angel Alita.
Exactly.
That would have been fucking great.
I'm glad it was in good hands. You know, he's kind of like a Del Toro, where like he obviously understands the appeal of these things.
He's an auteur of his genre. Is that what you're saying?
He doesn't fucking
Speaking of Del Toro, we were forced to sit through like 30 minutes of fucking trailers. The new Hellboy looks like shit.
Oh god, that's depressing.
I want to fucking die.
That's a whole other fucking awful thing. Where
Kill
it's like,
me.
That's an example of, you know, like you just gotta keep bleed these IPs out, and then it's like, I don't know, maybe it'll be more true to the comics or something. Who the fuck knows? God, I don't.
Yeah, whatever.
Bye.
Kill me.
Yeah.